and I'm going to introduce our next guest. And our next guest is Amy Martin, and we're going to be talking to Amy about her article in it was last January's edition of Barks from the Guild, actually, and it was called A Judgment-Free Zone, as well as her involvement with Family Pause, parent education, and Dog Gone Safe. And Amy has studied animal welfare, she's studied applied behaviour analysis, animal husbandry, animal enrichment for nearly 20 years, including she had a decade at a top-rated Association of Zoos and Aquariums accredited zoo. She was an institutional representative for various critically endangered species survival plans and president of the New Orleans chapter of the American Association of Zookeepers. Her expertise actually lies in exotic and domestic animal handling, animal training, animal enrichment, and animal medicine, so a big range of things there. And she's got extensive experience with hurricane and emergency planning and preparation for humans and animals. So, Amy, hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Louise, and hi, everyone out there.
And how are you, Amy? Hope you're feeling well today.
I am. I'm good. It's been a challenging week, but I'm so happy and excited to be here with everybody. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come on and talk to us. Now, I've just mentioned all the different things that you do. What are some of the species that you've actually had the opportunity to work with?
Well, it's funny you mentioned all that, and I thought, oh, I forgot about that. You were going into the intro. Over the years, it's actually been a diverse number of species. I first began rehabilitating and managing native wildlife for education programs. That was when I was in college at LSU, way back in the mid-90s. Then I worked with large and small domestics at LSU Vet School. And after those chapters, I moved to New Orleans and began my animal training and husbandry career at Audubon Nature Institute. That's actually where I work primarily with exotic species, Panthera, the exotic cats, corvids, citizens, marsupials, bears, giraffe, venomous snakes. I love venomous snakes. Insects, primates, crocs, komodos, giant tortoises, the first clones. That was really fun. And lots of other species survival plan animals. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. And which experience actually stood out the most for you, and for what reason?
Well, that's a tough question because each one of the species that I mentioned is very unique and holds a special place in my heart. They've all taught me invaluable lessons, but I guess if I had to pick one, it would be my first professional experience with force-free training, and the gentle giants who actually taught me were 500-pound tortoises. They're called the Aldabra Tortoises. Yeah, so it was those.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely fascinating. Not many people are able to say that their first experience with force-free training was with a giant tortoise.
Yeah, that was normal, but actually at the time there wasn't a lot of force-free going on. That was in 2000, and there was no formal training program, but I wanted to start one with our Aldabras. They were really unique and really special, and I knew that they were not being treated the way that they needed to be. So at the time, everything in our husbandry, which managing and breeding, was wrestling and wrangling. The men thought the idea of asking the tortoises to do anything was insane. So our female vet and I did the training silently behind the scenes, and then we produced incredible tangible results. We gained the trust of the Aldabras. They learned to trust people for the first time. Then we trained them for husbandry and public purposes. We conditioned them to give blood voluntarily. And then once the managers saw that our techniques were safer and more effective, they were all on board. So it wasn't an easy chapter in force-free training, but it was all worth it in the end. I published a paper about how we did it, and now other zoos and aquariums all over the world have learned from our work and applied it to their reptile programs. But in the end, it was the Aldabras that taught all of us. They're really amazing, amazing species.
Oh, wow, that is absolutely fascinating. I'm just looking actually at my screen, and I've got a little picture of you there.
Yes, that's Feldspar.
Yeah. Sorry, that's
Feldspar. His name is Feldspar. He was 70 years old at the time, which is actually middle age.
Oh, wow. Wow, so if that's middle age, what's the average lifespan?
Well, if they're really healthy, like Magma, the other male when I left, he was 90, so now he's pushing 100, but he's still very healthy. That has a lot to do with husbandry and a lot of different factors. But if they're really healthy, they'll get to be about 150.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah, I was like a baby training them. They're like
yeah,
this young whippersnapper.
so they definitely have going to have previously experienced a lot of different training techniques, let's say.
Oh
Like
yes.
how amazing actually that things have turned around and are
Mm-hmm.
now as they should be. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely fascinating. I'd love to talk to you, though, about your article in last year's January edition of Barks, which was a judgment-free zone. You
Mm-hmm.
talked about the importance of education, compassion, support, and non-judgmental guidance. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what inspired you to write that article? Because, we're going from giant we're going from these beautiful giant creatures to,
Yeah.
talking about supporting non-judgmental guidance. And, where did the article come from? What inspired you to write it?
That's a great question, and it does seem like a huge leap, but it's actually not. But because what inspired me are not only the families with whom I consult, but it's actually the interns and the volunteers that I taught and mentored over the years at Audubon, and it's the people who have taught and mentored me. Over the years, I just started to notice that we're so quick to judge each other, to blame, to judge an animal, to blame the animal. Great example with the tortoises, but the interns and the volunteers that I worked with, that was not really an option because that's not where they were in the learning process. So I learned that when the only thing that judging and blaming does is creates a barrier and a separation between ourselves and the object of our judgment or condemnation. It builds resistance instead of building trust. And not one of my mentors ever made me feel guilty or foolish for not knowing something or for not doing it or for doing it incorrectly. They always taught with compassion, with patience, and understanding of where I was in the learning process at the time. And so that actually carried over to because that was the process I was in with the tortoise. Like I said, that was my first free time of training, and everyone that taught me and mentored me never judged or blamed me. And that helped me because it carried over to how I mentored my adult volunteers and my youth interns. And then when I started my consulting business, it was natural for me to treat my clients and the public the same way. So instead of judging and blaming people for the current conditions that they found themselves in with their animals, I focused on awareness, helping them to be aware of what was happening, and compassionate education. It made a huge difference.
Yeah, and actually I can see the link now, between, like you said, between the giant tortoises and, moving on and talking about your
Mhm.
clients, etc. And I'm absolutely with you. It's so important that, we don't, if we just judge people, then they're more likely to walk away, and
Mhm.
we're then leaving both the
Yes,
people and the animals to suffer, aren't we?
yes,
Rather than
exactly.
working with them. Yeah, yeah.
Again, it
So
goes
what,
back to building trust. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So what would you say was your take-home message from the article? What, if for anybody that hasn't actually read the article, which they can do if they go onto the Pet Professional Guild website, because you can look up all the past articles in Barks and have a good read. But what was your take-home? What would you say the take-home message was?
Well, William Arthur Ward has a really great quote, and I think it sums it up beautifully. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, and the superior teacher demonstrates. The great teacher inspires. I believe that quote wholeheartedly. Guidance, inspiration, and motivation has always been the best tool for bridging the gap in communication. It creates awareness instead of feelings of guilt or resistance to a message. Understanding and compassion and empathy leaves no room for blaming, judgment, or wrongdoing. Building relationships with any species that we're working with, whether it's human or animal, is based on trust and mutual respect. And so I guess the really big home takeout message would be that if we want to continue to educate the masses and inspire the public and have real long-lasting positive impacts on individuals and families, we need to be inspiring, we need to be compassionate, and we need to offer non-judgmental guidance.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and a great message there. Now, in the article you mentioned family pause parent education,
Mhm.
and I know that you're involved with them. Can you tell us a little bit about family pause and exactly what your involvement is?
Absolutely. Family Pause Parent Education, their programs demonstrate to families that there is a compassionate community that does care, that will not judge or condemn them, and that wants to help parents and families that are in need of guidance and support. Our goal in educating and supporting families through Family Pause Parent Education is not to instill fear or to place blame on families, but rather it's to help everyone become more aware of ourselves, more dog aware, more aware of our children, their behavior, and our family members in general. Awareness and positive change is the end state, but compassion, support, coaching, and guidance are where we start with Family Pause. And to answer your other question, to be involved with Family Pause, um, honestly, becoming a licensed educator for Family Pause Parent Education and assisting on their advisory team has been one of the greatest learning opportunities in my behavior consulting career. Guiding families as they enter a life-changing new chapter has been incredibly rewarding. It's truly an honor to serve with Family Pause. And Jennifer is not only an incredible teacher and a friend, but she's a pioneer in this field. There's no one else on earth who's as dedicated and knowledgeable about the complicated dynamics of dogs and babies and dogs and toddlers. Jennifer's compassion and non-judgmental guidance with Family Pause Parent Education is actually what drew me in and resonated with how I was approaching consulting. So if anybody's interested in getting involved, whether you're a dog trainer, a veterinarian, a behaviorist, an expecting parent, or a parent with a toddler, Family Pause Parent Education is the world's best resource for growing families with dogs. And we actually have a specialty conference coming up. The focus is creating dog-aware generations. It will be July 30th through August 1st in Cary, North Carolina. And the speakers and presenters, they're experts in their fields. They'll be sharing their tips, techniques, and experiences. And we're really excited. It's going to be a wonderful conference, just like our last one. So if anyone is interested, they can learn more about it at familypause.com. And when you go to the website, there's actually a conference button on the upper right-hand corner of the page where they can learn more about it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for letting us know about that. You just mentioned actually dogs and toddlers. Now, there's a couple of programs, isn't there? There's Dogs and Storks and there's the Dogs and Toddlers program.
That's correct.
And you're a licensed presenter for both of these programs. What's the difference between the programs and what do they involve?
So the difference between that, they can learn more about it. I know we're very limited on time, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but the differences in the programs, it's really the stages. You know, we always talk about it's not just one stage, we're growing with the families with our program. So Dogs and Storks is, in a very brief summary, is for preparing families with dogs for life with baby, and then with toddlers, it's a life with a toddler, because we want the family to grow as the baby grows. It's a continuing process. It doesn't just end once the baby's arrived, and that's really what we try and get across to families, that it's a multiple stages, different ages. As the baby's growing, family's growing, everything is changing. So it's a constantly complex, changing dynamic, and we walk the family through guided mentoring and coaching, and like we said, compassionate guidance through all these different stages in their life.
And at what stage, if somebody's got a family or they're thinking of having a family, what stage should they start looking into, you know, sort of safety with their pet dog and what's going to happen with their pet dog? Is it before, they get...
It's right now. If they're thinking about adding a human baby to their fur baby family, that's a lot of people call them, it's contact us now. There's no better time than absolutely right now. We get calls from people in, nearly at 40 weeks, but that's not ideal. We're always willing to help, but we'd really like to hear from people when they're just considering it. It's all about preparing and planning for the unexpected and getting families ready on multiple levels. That's why we're the experts in the field, and that's why Jen's a pioneer in this field. It's incredible. So we really, really would love people to reach out, know that there's support. We even have a dog and baby support hotline, which is 1-877-247-3407. You can reach out anytime, day or night.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And for people that live, I'm going to say across the world, you know, like I'm here in Europe, we've got people listening in who are from the UK. Can they take advantage of the Family Pause Parent Education Services as well?
Absolutely. We actually have presenters and we have educators all in various parts of the world right now. And you can actually find, when you go to familypause.com, you can actually locate someone. And you can always call our baby and support hotline, and you can even email Jen at info@familypause.com. She's always there ready to help people and guide people to a qualified professional.
Perfect, thank you. And you're also actually involved with Dog Gone Safe, aren't you? Now, what's your role with Dog Gone Safe?
Yes, I've offered Beatree programs and dog safety awareness workshops for various youth groups over the years. I really love doing them because my focus and passion over the 20 years of educating has always been geared towards kids, and especially kids of all ages and backgrounds, different mental faculties. Just children are sponges and they want to learn, and these dog safety programs have the ability to empower kids and to create dog-aware generations. Plus, kids are really great, and they're a lot more fun to teach than adults most of the time. But what I'm always really inspired about is that children want to learn these dog safety concepts and techniques. They want to empower themselves and create a more conscious connection with their dogs at home. And these programs do that.
Excellent, thank you. And moving on from that slightly, I think, but what your company, Conscious Companion, then, is it very much related to the dog safety, let's say, and dog bite prevention, or what's it about? What's your company all about?
That's a great question. A lot of people ask me that. Right now I've actually put consulting on hold. I'm writing a couple books, and we're preparing for a big move. But when I am consulting, I work with all species of animals because that's my background. That's what I'm comfortable in. So I do everything from rats to cats, parrots to pigs, frogs to dogs. These can be good teachers, all of these animals, but there actually can be really frustrating challenges. But I do believe that when challenges arise, they can be opportunities to view life from the animal's perspective. So most of the families that I consult with, the traditional families, just the humans, pets are on the below us or on the back burner. And my intent is to bridge that gap between animals and humans. That's why my approach to animal behavior consulting with Conscious Companion focuses on every person in the home and their individual relationships with the animals, whether that's with Family Pause consulting or whether that's someone who has, a guinea pig that's fearful or a rabbit. Focusing on each individual person and guiding every member of the family creates success that lasts and creates a conscious connection and builds bonds that last for life. That's why I say that's where creating life with your animal companion improves. Everything's improving.
Awesome. And you just mentioned that you've taken a little bit of a sabbatical to write. You're writing a book, did you say, or writing a couple of books?
I am. I'm writing 3. But
3? Wow. Oh my gosh. You don't take the easy road then, do you?
It's crazy. I sat down to write 1, and then it turned into 3, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I hope you'll keep us informed as to how things are going, and obviously once your books are published, then you need to come back on and tell us all about them.
Thanks. The one I'm focused on right now is actually helping a senior cat age gracefully, and so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, how fascinating. Well, that's a definite must. You've definitely got to keep us up to date on what's happening there and let us know all about it. If people want to actually get in touch with you and learn more, is there a way that they can do that, Amy?
It is, yeah. They're welcome to visit my website at consciouscompanion.com. Yep.
Thank you very, very much, and thank you so much for coming on the show. That's been absolutely fascinating.
Thank you.
It's been amazing talking to you, and I'd actually love to hear more, especially about all your work with the, these zoo animals and everything.
Oh, they're amazing teachers. I would love to share what they've taught me. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you. Well, maybe what we can do is get you back on sometime, but also get you doing a webinar for the PPG and
That would be
giving us some more information. So I will be in touch, Amy.
fun. Thanks, Louise. Have a great day. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
You
everyone.
too. Thank
Okay,
you very
bye.
much, Amy. Bye bye.